What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Chasing Dallas season 2 episode. I think we're on episode 6. Y'all know I had to write one in the description box, child. So this episode, I feel like we got a half an episode now. Look, producers. Now I didn't complain when y'all skipped the week because I said, okay, y'all doing a little mid-season break, maybe I don't know, but okay, we took a little week. But then we came back for a week. You give us this big explosive episode last week. Then you give us a half an episode tonight. Like, y'all didn't have another 15, 20 minutes of footage that y'all could have just thrown in there and spliced something together and made something. Like, for really? That's what we doing? Okay. Whatever. So, we picked this episode up. We see Kane in his element. He is styling a fashion show. And a couple of things I liked about this scene. The first thing I liked about the scene is that we saw Kane doing his thing. You know what I mean? We know that Kane is, he does styling. We know that Kane is doing his fashion line. You know, that's what he's chasing. So it was good. See, when you get to let's get to the bare bones of the show. It is about chasing your dreams. It is what are you chasing? And Kane is chasing a full-time career in the fashion industry, right? He makes no bones about it that he still has a 9-to-5 while he's still trying to get this done. So what was great to see is him in his element, living out the dream that he is chasing. Okay. The second thing that was great to see is what the cause was. It was for a great cause. It was for women, for whatever reason, women who are trying to be reintroduced into the work environment. And so it was like a fashion show of like business attire and well, actually, no, I think we saw a little bit of everything. But it was for a organization that deals with women who are getting back into society, whether it be because of domestic violence or some other issues that they were having. So I think that was great. You know, always down for a good cause. So that was the first scene we saw, and it was pretty good. You know, again, we saw Dior in his element. Then we had this, this heartbreaking scene with Dior, and we got to meet another one of his gay children. He says gay child / best friend. And it was just heartbreaking. He tells the story of his relationship with his father and how he basically has been chasing after, begging for, yearning for his father's love, his father's acceptance. And what was said without being said is basically his father has rejected him probably because of his lifestyle. He said it has been like that for a long time. He went back home for a funeral, and he was telling a story about running into his dad, like out in the street. And first of all, his father acting like he didn't even know who he was, which would break my heart off the break. Then he asked his father for a ride home. He said, look, I'm stranded out here. Can I get a ride home? His father talking about something, I don't have room. He said, well, he's driving a flatbed, so like I could have sat in the back. I don't even give a damn what kind of car it was. I don't care if it was 5 other people in the car. You leave your child stranded. And so, you know, Dior, I don't know whether you look at my reviews or not, but if you look at my reviews, baby, you know, my heart goes out to you. You do your thing. You know, the best revenge is your paper. And I know it's not about money. But, you know, that thing broke my heart. You just hate to see it. I don't understand. I will never understand. I don't understand, and I will never understand how a parent can reject their child. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand it. So thank you, Dior, for sharing that story with us. Thank you, Dior, for letting us understand. And you know what? Let me say this. Oh, Lord, my phone ringing. Let me say this. In light of what we are dealing with or what we are seeing in the media when it comes to Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade's first wife, and their family. This is the opposite of what we are seeing them do is this. You understand what I'm saying? And thank God that Dior had a strong mom. Thank God that Dior has a strong mind, and he was able to, you know, in spite of rise above. But at the end of the day, this is what happens when your family says we don't accept who you are. Go figure it out. He could have just as easily been anyway. See, y'all about to make me go down a whole nother road that I ain't trying to go down. But anyway, so that's what that was, y'all. And again, thank you, Dior, for sharing your story. Hopefully, you sharing your story inspires some people. I'm doing a lot of talking because it ain't a whole lot with this episode, okay? Then we had Miss Iyanla Vanzant, and she, of course, gave it to Markel. I love her. Look, I don't know where y'all... I really hope that's who y'all have hosting the reunion. I'm serious. I really need Iyanla Vanzant to host the reunion. That's what I need in my life. That is what I need in my life. I hope that is who y'all got. I look forward to seeing her. But of course she gave her, she gave her top, she gave her bottom. Of course Markel was at the bottom and at the top. She talked about, was it King Kane? She gave Rock a little something for being all extra at the store last week. Reese met with the photographer. Reese, you guys probably know by now, but Reese is, at the time when he was filming this, it was still in its very early stages, but Reese has written a book. He has written a book dealing with 7 steps to networking for the millennial. And he talks about, he was a stylist for many years, and he talks about how he was able to get in a room, how he was able to work a room, how he was able to get the job. And so he's written a book to break it down for you guys, and he was meeting with somebody that he wanted to do the photo shoot. So it's available for pre-sale. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot with it. It was just a little something. But I'm sure it was just to let us know that he was writing the book. I ain't mad at you, Reese. I ain't mad at you, Reese. What Markel, and I was so mad I forgot to say this in my review last week. Markel gonna ask him, what are you chasing? What is your product? And Reese was like, the show that you on? Which I think is enough. But even if it wasn't enough, okay, Markel, now, here. Okay. All right. So, congrats, Reese. Y'all go ahead and go out and pre-order. Go to ReeseG.com. I believe he said it's on his website. You can pre-order from there. I'm sure it'll be on Amazon and all that good stuff. I think the official release date, he said, was 2020. I like that, Reese. I like that. 2020. No, 3/2020. I knew it was an extra 20 in there. March the 20th, damn it. Shit. So then we see Kane, Rock, and Trey hooking up again for another little ya moment. Okay, so we are finally being set up. We're finally getting the setup, not being set up. We're finally getting the setup for the situation that's going to happen at the lingerie party. We finally get in the background. Because, all this time we were like, okay, we see that it's a fight. We see Trey is in the fight. But what in the world? Who in the hell? How did we get here with the rest of it, right? So we're finally figuring it out. So Kane is Kane. Kane is so cute. I love Kane. Kane and Trey, and they're having drinks and everything. And Rock shows up. Rock's a little late. And he immediately comes in throwing a little shade, honey, talking about, oh, well, since y'all ain't give me no drink, I guess I gotta go to the bar and give me a drink. I'll be back. You weren't here when we were ordering. See, here's the thing. I'm all about, I don't have no problem treating nobody to a little something, but you wasn't here when I was ordering. You don't want no watered down drink? Ciao, bye. So, then they came back to the table, and they were talking about the situation between Trey and Dior. And Trey Womack, Trey Howard, and Dior. So Rock was like, he had a very eloquent way of saying basically, what the hell y'all talking about? Like, I done walked in the middle of this conversation. What y'all talking about? He said something, I don't like being the tail and being at the butt. Some shit. I don't know. But Kane has invited everybody to his event except for Georgina. So that's what they talking about, honey. And he was throwing shade, doing what he does. So what we find out is that Trey has history with Dior and with Howard. First of all, Trey, Womack, I'm really trying to like you, Womack. I really am, because I think you're cutie, and I really don't think you're a bad person. But one, you seem to have a story with everybody. You seem to be the nucleus here. You seem to have a connection. Two, you got a lot of shade with you. You be throwing a lot of shade, Womack. I don't know what's up with that, but you be throwing some shade. So, from what I can gather, Dior and Womack knew each other. And I feel like they might have known each other biblically. And somehow or another, Trey Howard, or was it Trey? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Maybe somehow or another, him and Trey Howard were flirting at one point, because he said something about they were talking, but Trey didn't have a car, so they never really hooked up. And then Trey was, kind of confused, didn't know who he was, and he was just kind of discovering that he was gay. And if you when we interviewed Trey, he talked about the fact that he just sort of come out, and he's still learning a lot of stuff, or at least was. He's when he was. And Womack sort of confirmed that to say, hey, when I met him, he didn't know whether he was a top or a bottom. He didn't know whether he was this, whether he was that. He was still new to this. And yeah, I didn't really have time for that. He had no car. Yeah, I didn't really have time for that. And Trey was like, I don't really do subliminals like that. Womack, I have to keep saying the last name. He was like, I don't really do the subliminals and all that other stuff. I need to know who's who, the what's the what, and all of that. I don't really play those games too much. And so, seems like there was a post on social media where some shade was thrown. They was talking about his weight. But that's really what the buildup is to the lingerie party, y'all. I don't have a lot. I don't. But it sounds like the beef is between Trey Womack, Trey Howard, and Dior. And Trey was like, he doesn't really have any beef with Dior, but he has beef with the fact that Dior acts funny when certain people are around. Like when there's certain people around, he feel like, like he said, if Dior walked in here right now, I wouldn't have no beef with him. I would speak to him. But I would also be giving him the side eye, like, but when certain people are around, you always, what I mean? You don't speak to me when certain people around, now we cool. So that seems like the build up. And I feel like that's where they're sort of building us up to the party. But still, I still feel like they could have found 2 or 3 more scenes to splice in there to make it an hour. I'm just saying. Because the episode was only like 40 minutes. 35 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that. Because when they started doing, next week on Chasing Dallas, I was like, oh, they must have messed up the editing. Because I was like, it can't be over. They must have messed the editing up. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, y'all, that was it. That's all I got. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.